Alright, so we're starting a new chapter. We're talking about sequences. A sequence is a function that is ordered using positive integers. Okay, and we're going to call it a to the n. Okay, that n can change depending on what number it is in that sequence. So, first example, I want to find the first 4 terms of the sequence. Okay, I'm going to have a is a to the n equals 3n minus 2. So that's my sequence. Okay, to find the first term, so first term would be a1. Okay, that means when my n is 1, I'm going to plug in 1 for n. So I'm going to have 3 times 1 minus 2. Well, that's 3 minus 2, so a1 equals 1. Okay, a2, I'm going to plug in 2 for n. So I have 3 times 2 minus 2. Well, 6 minus 2 is 4. So a2 is 4. Okay, a3, I'm going to have 3 times 3 minus 2. So it's 9 minus 2, it's 7. So a3 is 7. And then a4 is 3 times 4 minus 2. That's 12 minus 2, so that is 10. So there are my first 4 terms. 1, 4, 7, and 10. Okay, if you want, write it out so that it's easier for you can see them when you are writing an answer. It'll keep going, but we just want the first 4 terms. Okay, B would be if I had the sequence a to the n equals 3 plus negative 1 to the n. Okay, this same thing. I'm going to have a to the 1, 3 plus negative 1 to the 1. Okay, well, negative 1 to the 1 is just negative 1. So this is 3 plus negative 1, so that'd be 2. Okay, a2 is 3 plus negative 1 squared. Okay, well, negative 1 squared is positive 1, so 3 plus 1 is 4. a3, 3 plus negative 1 cubed. Okay, well, negative 1 cubed is negative 1 times negative 1, which is positive 1. Positive 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. So we're back up like we were at the first. So that's 2. a4, 3 plus negative 1 to the 4th is 4. Because this again would be positive 1, so 3 plus positive 1 is 4. So that switches off every other thing. Okay. We're going to look at example 2. Alternating signs. So I have the sequence a to the n equals negative 1 to the n over 2n minus 1. And I want to write the first 5 terms. So I'm going to have a to the 1 equal negative 1, 1 over 2 times 1 minus 1. Okay, well, this is negative 1. 2 times 1 is 2, minus 1 is 1, so this is negative 1. So let's look at a2. So I have negative 1 squared over 2 times 2 minus 1. So negative 1 squared, that's positive 1. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. Okay, a to the 3rd, or a3, is negative 1 cubed over 2 times 3 minus 1. Okay, negative 1 cubed is negative 1. 6 minus 1 is 5. 4, negative 1 to the 4th over 2 times 4 minus 1 is 1/7. And a5 is negative 1 to the 5th over 2 times 5 minus 1, so that'd be negative 1/9. If you notice, your signs are alternating. It goes negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. The reason being is because of this negative 1 to n right here. If that were not there, then the signs would just be the same. Okay, for your signs to alternate, you're going to have, if it's the -1 to the n, when your n is 1, 3, or 5, it'll be negative. Okay? If I were to have -1 to the n plus 1, it would be the evens. 2, 4, and 6 would make it negative. So anything when you have something like this, it alternates your sign. These numbers could be different. These could be -2 or -4, but it's still, if with the exponent, it'll alternate the signs. Okay, example 3. Writing an expression. Okay, so I'm given the terms 1, 3, 5, 7. Okay, so when n equals 1, I get 1. When n equals 2, I get 3. When n equals 3, I get 5. When n equals 4, I have 7. So every time this increases by 1, this increases by 2, right? So increases by 2, and then -1. So let's try this out. So if I plug in 2 times 1 is 2, minus 1 is 1. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 minus 1 is 5. 2 times 4 is 8. Minus 1 is 7. So yeah, that works. So here's our expression. Okay, part B. I have 2, -5, 10, -17. If you look, your signs are alternating. Okay, so that means we're going to have, it's alternating on the evens instead. So this is going to be -1 to the n plus 1. Okay, then each time, if we look, we go from 2 to 5 to 10 to 17. Okay, so in order to get to that, we're not multiplying by anything to get these, but if I, let's say, when n is 1, and I square that, well, 1 squared is 1. What would I have to add to that to get 2? I'd have to add 1. So times n squared plus 1. Let's see if it works for the next one. 2 squared is 4 plus 1 is 5. Okay, good. 3 squared is 9 plus 1 is 10. 4 squared is 16 plus 1 is 17. And this changes your sign. This makes it in positive or negative. So here is your equation for that one. Alright, your homework is A1, page 649, numbers 2 through 14 even, and 38 through 42 even. Please let me know if you have any questions, and good luck.